Hi, welcome to the Dojo Exchange. Today, I have Mr. Leno. Sir, can you go ahead and tell me about yourself?
Yeah, my name is Jose Leno. I six stand in the style of Tong Sudo. I've been practicing martial arts for, I want to say about 37 years. I've studied other systems along the way, and I live in San Agustin, Florida, where I've had a dojo for the past 20 years.
Nice. So, what got you started in martial arts?
I guess like many stories, yeah, I got bullied a lot, so I wanted to learn martial arts to defend myself, and it kind of took off from there.
So, how long did it take you to get your black belt?
My first one, I want to say 8 years to get to my black belt, and that was in Kung Fu. And then I kind of got away with it, got away from Kung Fu training, joined the military, moved around a bit, tried other styles, and then landed in Tong Sudo. And it took me about a year or two to get my black belt in Tong Sudo, but I already had background, so I knew a lot of the forms. So it was a lot easier the second time around.
So, what can you tell us about Tang Sudo?
Tong Sudo, okay, well, there's different types of Tong Sudo. Tong Sudo at one point, it used to be one of the Kwans. Our particular lineage is the Muru Kwan Tong Sudo lineage. My Tong Sudo follows a lot of the Shotokan systems, so a lot of the same forms, a lot of the same movements, a lot of the same katas. So it's very similar to that. I mean, what I was gonna say, is the way I describe it to people that don't know martial arts is Korean karate, Korean Shotokan. You know,
It's crazy how similar it is to Taekwondo as well. I mean, Taekwondo was mixed with Shotokan to begin with, but it's crazy how similar those two are.
well, yeah, I mean, if you're looking at the forms, if you're looking at a Taekwondo form, a lot of times you can see that it is a Shotokan form just rearranged.
Yeah.
So we might begin with our form with double blocks, but they have it in the middle of the form. So it's the same, just rearranged. I gave both credits. I practiced Taekwondo for a while. As a matter of fact, that was one of my first styles, American Taekwondo. And yeah, I mean, speed in the legs, the stamina, the Olympic style kicking is not as easy as people think.
So, how has martial arts changed your life outside the dojo?
Structure, because of the martial arts, I was able to gather myself. I grew up in a not so great neighborhoods. Martial arts really helped me get my stuff together, and because of them, I joined the military, U.S. Army, and afterwards, it just helped me organize the discipline. All the things that really people claim the martial arts teach. So being on time, being respectful, being thoughtful of others, wanting to help others, standing up for others, being confident, all those things. So it has definitely helped me in my everydays, especially running a business. I've been running, the name of my school is Instant Karate in San Agustin, Florida, and it's been around for 20 years. It has a good reputation. We do what we say. We teach pretty traditional. So we're well liked in the area. I know every instructor and martial arts master in the vicinity. As soon as they come in, I introduce myself. When I first moved here, I introduced myself to some of the schools, just out of manners.
So, being an instructor, what's the most rewarding moment that you've had being an instructor?
Rewarding moments, man. Honestly, that's a lot of questions. There's too many to this to talk about. I can tell you one from a young lady who was a student of mine, moved to Texas, and then I got an email from her saying, "Thank you for teaching me what you did." I was walking to my apartment, and a guy grabbed me, and I was able to fight my way to safety and call the cops and got him in trouble. So that was rewarding in the fact that I was able to teach somebody something that helped them, right? And other stories are just kids that, Mr. Jose, because of your teachings, I decided to join the military, or I decided to go ahead and go back to college and finish school. So those are rewarding stories. There's just after 20 years, there are so many. There are so many kids that they've been with me for 11, 12, 13 years before they go off to college. So yeah, it's a very rewarding job. I've had a lot of jobs. I'm 50. I'll be 55 next week, and I've done everything from sales to restaurants. And this is one job that even on my worst day, I'm glad I have it.
What advice can you give other school owners out there that are just starting out since you have a long time running a school?
That's a hard one because it depends on why people open the schools. I mean, we all have different reasons to open karate schools, right? Some people think it's a good way to make money. Some people it's a good way to help the community. It comes down to being true to who you are. If you're really trying to teach martial arts, then teach martial arts. If you're gonna do creative styles, then do creative styles. Biggest advice is if you're claiming to teach self defense and real life combat, then you should have something that should work towards that. You don't want to. It's like telling somebody, "Hey, you're buying a Mustang," but really you're getting a Pinto.
Yeah,
You got to be able to deliver on your word. I think in the martial arts, our word is our bond, and if we don't have that, then we're not in the right spot. To be well versed in what you're going to do, education, whether you're constantly practicing and discovering from self teaching or you're working with people to learn. Again, I'll be 55 next week, and I have learned some amazing things from kids who are much younger that I didn't. Sometimes I just forgot about it or I didn't think about it. And I think keeping an open mind is a big part of being a good martial artist, a good instructor, a good businessman. As much as we like to believe that we know everything, we don't. There's so much to learn in martial arts, philosophy, theory, practice, application, and there's not one right way to do anything. So who's to say what's the best style? We've had that discussion since the beginning of martial arts. What's the strongest style? What's the best style? It comes down to how hard you practice and how well educated you are at your system.
absolutely. And it's crazy how similar a lot of these styles are if you break down into it.
Well, I
Another
mean, a punch is a punch and a kick is a kick. It's the philosophy behind it, where you place it. That's what's really changing how the person that taught you, where did they believe, for example, a roundhouse kick, where is it going to land? Do you want it on the thigh? Do you want it on the ribs? Do you want it on the head? Those are things. But a kick is a kick and a punch is a punch. So there's a lot of similarities between styles. And I follow people on YouTube, for example, JC Camp, the karate nerd. He's done some amazing videos on tracing down lineages of karate and Tong Sudo back to China, and then from China back beyond that, and so on and so on. So everything's going to be linked to some degree.
How can martial arts make communities safer?
Well, for one, let's dissect it a little bit. It can make communities safer by teaching a person how to effectively defend themselves, being aware. That's the biggest thing I try to teach when I do maybe a little seminar on women's self defense. You can't teach somebody to defend themselves in a half an hour or 3 hours, but you can teach them how to train their brains to be a little bit more aware, be aware of your surroundings. So martial arts can help you to being more practical and safety. Dark hallway that is going to take you to your car faster, or go around the building where there's light. Most people just want to get to the car, so they'll take the dark hallway and then they put themselves in a bad position. Also with martial arts is teaching respect. And again, that goes back to the individual school or dojo, is how does that instructor and or master teach respect, discipline to that student? And will that student take it into the real world, into school, or people that take adults that take karate, take it to work, being accessible to help, being a leader, but not being a bully. So it can help depending on, a lot of times it depends on schools, man. I mean, my school is a competition school, and there are some schools that are great and they teach their kids discipline. There's some schools that teach their kids just to hurt that kid. And that really depends on the master. So can it help community? Yeah, tremendously. But like in the show Cobra Kai, who are you going to get, Mr. Miyagi or Master Reese, right?
So, what advice could you give parents out there that are looking for a school to put their students in or their kids in?
Shop, walk around, get to know the school. If a school is not offering some way to get to know them, whether it's a free class or a free week, or sit down with the instructor and chit chat about their philosophies and theories and practices, a lot of times people just want to put their kid in something. Oh, my kid wants to do karate. There's a school down the street. Let's put him in there. But there's a much better school not 2 blocks from there that will probably give him more of what they're looking for. I think sometimes in this day and age, we want everything so fast that we just, the first thing we find, okay, there's a karate school there. Let's just send him out there. He wants karate, or she wants karate. Being educated, it's like going to college. You don't just go to the first college. You kind of research. Why do I want to go to this college versus this college? This college has this program, and this is what I'm interested in. You don't go to a college that doesn't have a program you're not interested in. If you want to be an engineer, And not to badmouth communities, but community college is not where you're going to become an engineer. You need to go to a good school that's going to have a better program towards what you want. So parents should really be educated with the schools around. One of the things that I do when a new person comes into my dojo, I sit him down with the other parents and I tell them, ask any of these parents about me. Let them tell you, because those parents will let them know, he does this and he does that. And they're pretty honest. Sometimes I'm
Yeah,
very nice, and sometimes I'm not so nice. It just depends on the child, what they're doing, the circumstance, the situation. Sometimes I have to be a little bit more strict with a kid who needs to learn not to be such a bully, and sometimes I have to be a little bit nicer who are kids who needs to build up that confidence. And you're not going to know that from day one. You're not going to know that because you walk in my dojo and say, "Oh yeah, he seems nice." Everybody's
yeah,
nice the first day. I can come in there and smile and tell you how wonderful I am and my tournament history and my years in business. And at the end of the day, do you and I, as people, are we connecting? And am I the type of person you want teaching your child? That is an important part. You might get a person that you don't want around your child, or
yeah.
there's going to
That's
teach them something that you don't agree with. And now
yeah.
your child knows that lesson because you didn't take the time to study and research a little bit.
Agree with that. So, who was your favorite, or who was your biggest influence in martial arts growing up?
Uh, Famous or just in general, as far as like
All,
instructors and
all together or both?
so I'm an 80s kid. I saw the Karate Kid 17 times. As soon as mom gave me a little allowance, I ran out the door to go see the Karate Kid. So at first, I wanted to be Daniel's son, right? The prodigal son. He does great. He beats the bad guy. And as I got older, I realized that I wanted to be more like Mr. Miyagi, a good teacher, somebody who cares, who is there for their student. So there were a lot of great action movie stars in the 80s or great movies. Let me put it that way, right? We talk about Van Damme. He was great. I mean, everybody loved Van Damme when he was in his prime. Steven Seagal, the stuff that he did, oh, wow, that's so cool. And there were others along the way. But as far as reality-based martial arts, I have two. One is I call him my master. We known each other for years. He's a higher than his name is Marco CS. He's a 7-time kickboxing world champion from Chile. The guy is an amazing martial artist, very knowledgeable, very kind. And so he was one of my first influences or real life influences. He come into my basement and teach me karate when I was very young. And then the other one was an instructor I had when I was with Jeff Smith's karate back in the 80s. His name is Nick Broxma. And now he's in Orlando. And I actually ran into him 2 years ago. I tracked him down through somebody at a tournament. I recognized somebody who was friends with him, and I questioned it, and next thing I know, they connected me with him, and we had lunch. And I reminded him again. I grew up in bad neighborhoods, so I was sitting down the wrong path, had the wrong friends, parties, alcohol, all those wonderful things. And he put his arm around me one day, coming into the dojo, saw me hanging around the wrong crowd, and said, "Hey, man, you can go that route, or I can show you a better way." And because of him, I decided to stay with the martial arts. He introduced me to competitions, and he's the one that really helped me get my life straight as far as getting out of that into the martial arts. And then that prompted me to join the military, which was another big change in my life.
So, what branch of service were you in?
Army. I was Army.
Army. Awesome. Thank you for your service, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. So if somebody asked me if you could do it again, would you? In a heartbeat. In a heartbeat.
That's awesome. So, in Taekwondo, we have the tenets of Taekwondo and we have our oath. Is there anything similar to that in Tang Sudo?
So yeah, Tang Sudo has, much like Taekwondo, is again same lineage. We do have our tenets and things that they say. To be honest with you, when I started my studio, I took everything that was taught to me by federations and associations. Again, to each their own. I'm just not a big fan of somebody who's not in the building telling me what to do and how to do it, who might teach me over a video or a VHS tape, who might see me once every 2 years. But I decided to go solo. So in our school, what I did is I took all that down and I made my own. What we say at my school, the instructor at the beginning of the class, we all line up. The instructor screams out strength through, and the kids in unison reply knowledge, focus, respect, honor, self-discipline, self-confidence. I believe that in order to be strong or to gain strength, you need to have these disciplines. Knowledge is being one of them. The more educated you are, the more you know about something, the stronger you will be mentally educated, right? To be focused, to be respectful, to be honorable, to have the discipline to get things done, and to have the confidence, not the ego, the confidence to know, you know what, this is hard, but I can do this. I just need to keep trying. And that's so I took away all the other stuff that all the other styles taught me over the years, and I kind of just summarized it into these 6 different points.
It makes sense. I like it. So how do you deal with ego in the classroom?
I make them do something that I know is going to be hard for them to do. So if I have kids that are showing off, I say, well, why don't you try this technique? And then once they realize that they can't do it at that moment, ego kind of gets brought down a peg. So it's just challenging them, make them realize that while they're good at this, they still have to train to be good at this. And that's a big way to do it. Used to be my master, my Kung Fu master had a nice bamboo stick. And whenever we got a little cocky, the stick spoke every language. Can't do that nowadays. So we need to find other inventive ways. I can be mean, I can scream, but screaming doesn't get anywhere. It usually makes somebody feel terrible, and parents don't like this. Their kids scream that, right? So we have to find ways to do it. One thing that I do is if I have to discipline a child through an exercise, through a challenge, as soon as I get a chance, I talk to the parents. Sometimes parents drop their kids off, so they're not there to see it. If they're there to see it, they see it, and we have a little talk after class about it. But if they're not there, I usually approach the parents afterwards and say, hey, by the way, Billy was behaving in this way, and this is what I did. This is what I said. And I always inform the parents of my actions for 2 reasons. One, maybe they'll find some way to use that to help their child. Or number two is just covering myself is, hey, no, I did not scream at your child. No, I did not call him my name. And this is exactly what I said and what I did. And the kid, usually I have the kid next to me. So the kid knows, yeah, that's what he said, mom. Yep, that's pretty much it. So I'm quite honest when it comes to that. But I find that violence, screaming, getting upset, it doesn't do anything other than the kid just hating you. And once a child hates you, they're not going to learn from you.
Yeah, I feel like I understand that. Aggression breeds aggression too, and it just makes a bad
Yeah.
environment. So if you could train with anybody, living or dead, who would you train with?
Ooh, that's a good one. I would want to train with a very old Japanese master who can really educate me on Bonkai. There's so
Okay.
many versions of Bonkai through every style. I would want to train with somebody who can really educate me. Okay, we move like this because, and this is why. Again, over the years, I've had access to many masters that show me their version, and it makes sense. Most of them do have techniques that, okay, I understand, but then I talk to the other guy, and the same movement is completely different. So who's right? I would love to be able to go back to that era. As a matter of fact, somebody asked me, if you could go on vacation, where would you go? I don't want to go on vacation. I live in an area where I have a beach 20 minutes from me, so I don't need vacation. If I go anywhere, I want to go someplace where I can train. I want to be around masters. I want to be around people that know what they're doing, that their whole life has been martial arts, and be educated. That's how I find that I use my time wisely. That relaxes me. So 2 things that I do to relax, honestly, is training and cooking.
So do you have any upcoming seminars or events?
So here we have an event we do annually. This will be our 4th year. It's called the Ancient City Championships. It's in San Agustin, Florida. We're part of a circuit that originated in Florida, USA Sports Karate, an amazing competition circuit, open tournaments. So any style can attend. We've been with them now for going on 16 years or so. So we have pretty much a tournament every month with them, except for the summertime where we have the big events from NASCA. So the league kind of takes a break because we either compete or some of the judges for USA Sports Karate help and judge at NASCA events. So that's it. And then next weekend, the big event that I'm proud to say, because it's my first year, I get to be a judge at the AAU Junior Olympics in Des Moines, Iowa. So that's
That's
that's a big one.
incredible.
It's my first year doing it. It's kind of cool. I'm kind of excited. I kind of want next weekend to be here already.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt. That sounds fun. So if you have any events coming up, send them to me and I'll shoot them out there.
All right. Sounds great. We not only, like I said, I love to share my event, but we do have a lot of events through the USA Sports Karate circuit. Most of our events are here in Florida. That's where we started, or they started, I should say. But now they have events in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, New York, Honduras, Mexico, Guatemala, Puerto Rico. So they're branching out, and they're also part, like I said, of the AAU, and they help out with the U.S. martial arts team, which every 2 years we have World Games, and we get to travel around the world. We just came back from Norway last year in a
Wow.
large competition. And the next year, they haven't told us where yet, but we're hoping it's the Caribbean. We were in the cold. Now we need some heat.
So if you could give some advice to the next generation of martial artists, what would you tell them?
Stop trying to rush. Everybody wants to rush. They want to get to that black belt today. They want to do the easy techniques. They want to do the flashy techniques. There's nothing wrong with creative or extreme forms of creative martial arts. There's plenty of room for that. But martial arts is about self-discipline, self-growth. And the traditional styles were designed for that, to challenge you, to help you, to structure you, not to make it easy, not to make it fast. If you're in a karate school that you can get your black belt in 2 years because you paid every month to get that belt, then you're not really learning what you should be learning. Slow it down a little bit. Everybody wants everything so fast. Why? Take your time. Life happens fast, man. I can tell you, I look at myself in the camera right now and I see my image, and I remember being 17 without less wrinkles, and here I am, right? A lot of gray hair, if you can see.
It's been an honor having you on. If I'm ever down there on vacation, I'm gonna have to look you up.
Oh, please
And
do. That'd be great.
definitely, definitely. Well, it's been an honor. Like I said, thank you again for your service. And just shoot me if you have any events that you want sponsor. If you want me to send out there, I'll put them out there.
All right. Thank you, James. I appreciate
All right.
it. Pleasure.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye.